a bit of effort. Hello and thank you so much for joining me today down on my allotment plot. I'm here for the whole day today. I've got Vince with me. He's just down at the van grabbing something. We've got a good couple of hours to spend down here today. We've got so much to do. But I just want to show you around and show you what's been happening the last week. I'm feeling much better. Those of you that watched my video last week will know that I was really unwell for a good week, over a week. But I'm feeling much better. I'm not 100%, but I'm well enough to spend the day down on the allotment and get some jobs done. So let me show you around and show you what's been happening since I haven't been here. So my purple sprouting broccoli is looking absolutely fantastic. The garlic is all starting to come up in between there. So there's one there as well. So that is all interplanted with garlic and that is all looking really good. I'm so pleased with that. This is the garlic this side that I split, that I dug up and then I split because I didn't harvest it this year. And I've replanted it and it's all looking really good. So that's good. This is my garlic that I planted. That end there is still not coming up as quick as this middle bit. So I don't know why that is, but it's looking good nonetheless. And then behind me here is all of my winter veg. That's all looking amazing. And I can see the little garlic sprouts coming up in between of all of those as well. So I am a bit garlic mad, but it's going to be good next year when I've got a good garlic harvest. But these are all looking really good as well. I might give these another water. So these had a water the beginning of last week, so they're probably due another water, but I'm trying not to keep it very wet in there and very soggy. So I'm trying to sort of keep that balance of keeping it watered but not having that wet environment that's perfect for those slugs and snails that we love. So I've actually got a bag here of cardboard that I've ripped up. So I'm trying to be organised with my compost, and every time I come down just bring a little bit of cardboard just to put in there as and when it's needed. And I've actually got a whole bag there that I'm just going to tip in now. So that's that little job done. And let's check on my asparagus bed, because I did this a couple of weeks ago. I mulched it and I covered it and it's still covered, so I'm really pleased with that. I wasn't sure if that cover was going to stay in place because it has been so windy and so rainy the last couple of weeks. And I did my other asparagus bed and that is looking fine as well. So I'm excited because my asparagus should be able to be harvested next year. So this year coming 2025, so that is the third year. So fingers crossed they come up and I'm able to get an asparagus harvest. That's very exciting. But this is the area that we're going to be working on today. So I have got 4 trays of onions. So I've got 2 red onions and 2 brown onions. And I want to plant them today, but we need some protection here because there's so many things that come and dig in our beds. So I think I'm going to be using this bed here. So this was our old garden gate that Vince made into a bed. It should still be okay for the next year or so. It's still pretty solid. So I think we're going to use that. I'm going to place it somewhere underneath this apple tree. Now, you might remember that underneath this apple tree in this area is some black plastic. So about a foot underneath the ground, the soil level, I found some black plastic. And I think the previous, or maybe even before that, plot holder had put it on there just to stop the apple tree roots maybe from coming up, and they can still use this area. I decided not to dig it because I thought I can just use it. I mean, it's quite far down, but it just means I can't plant anything that's deep rooted there. So I think what I'm going to do is do my onions here, but Vince is here, obviously he's going to lend me a hand and build some sort of, I don't want to say cage, but some sort of something to protect it. So we've got some plumbing tube down here. We've got some pallets. Look, as I say that, Vince is just bringing a pallet. So here he is. Here he is, bringing the pallet. We've got plumbing tube, pallets, and we've got some other wood here as well. So there's, and I've bought the netting that I got on Amazon. So I think that we'll be able to construct something to cover the onions. I think that'll be absolutely fine. But I also need to do some work on this apple tree because it's not looking very healthy. It never has a good harvest, but I'm hopeful because it's given out some new branches that are actually quite sturdy, and they've got the fruiting spurs on them. So I think I'm going to try and lower it a bit. So use this as sort of like the new rejuvenated apple tree, and maybe take a lot of the top branches off. As you can see here, at some point there's been some rope tied round this, and it's actually grown into the tree. So I think we need to take quite a bit of this off. You can see this side as well, it's actually fused together here, and they're all quite tangled up there. So I think I'm going to take quite a bit of this tree off, and yeah, just try and keep maybe this sort of bit, because these branches here are quite strong and they're growing quite strong as well. So that's our little tasks for today. I need to definitely tidy up this area because it is an absolute mess. It's definitely not ready to plant any onions at the moment, and my cosmos as well and truly finished, so that needs to go in the compost. So Vince is going to start breaking apart this pallet, and I am going to start tidying this area. That was actually quite a bit of effort to weed that bed, because in this bed, and you can still see it along the side here, which I will dig out as well, is creeping buttercup, and it is all the way around this bed, and it was all in this bed. So you have to do quite a bit of digging and making sure you get out every single bit of when it is the creeping buttercup, because it only needs a tiny bit of root left in the soil or on the top of the soil, and it will just keep growing. And also it's quite deep rooted, so you need to, and it's a creeper, so it digs down, puts its roots down, and then it creeps along and puts more roots down, so it just spreads so quickly. I really need to keep on top of that this year, because next year they'll just be triple, quadruple the amount if I don't keep pulling it up. So really need to keep on top of that. Vince has now cut the pallets, so he separated them all, and we're going to now work out how we're going to protect this bed, which will have my onions in it. So for the next step, we're going to be using an amazing tool that a company have sent me to review. So the company is Seesii, and they have sent me a mini chainsaw. So it comes in this box. Inside the box we have got the chainsaw itself, the batteries, the battery charger, protective gloves, protective goggles. It's got a little screwdriver there. It's a really nice little product. It fits quite nicely into this case, so it doesn't take up much room, which I really like, but we're going to be trying it out today. So Vince is going to be making a box to go around this bed with the pallet wood. So the box will go on top of this bed, and then it can be removed, so the netting will actually be attached to the frame that he is making now. that is the first bit of the frame done, and Vince has now got the plumbing tube which he's going to use. I just need to ask a favour of you. If you're not subscribed to my channel and you do like watching us and what we do on our allotment and at home, please can I ask you to subscribe? It would mean so much to me if you do, and it just helps my channel grow. If you're already subscribed, then thank you so much. Please hit the like and also leave a comment, because that's my favourite bit of releasing a video, is talking to all of you. using the netting that I get off Amazon. So it's just like a garden mesh netting. I've used it in the garden, I've used it up here. It does last quite a long time. It's reasonably priced. I've never had any problems with it. So we're going to use that, and I think we're going to attach that to this frame that Vince has made. So this frame can be moved, and then this frame, which was already there, that was made out of the garden fence, can just stay put. And then this can sort of be moved around where we need it, if we need it on a different bed, for example, at some point. So I think he's just going to try and put this over the top and then see how we can attach it. This definitely fits, so that's fine. So now we're just going to attach something just to the top to make it extra sturdy and also stop the netting from falling in too much. And then we're going to attach it. So that is the finished article. I think that looks really, really good. I'm really, really pleased with that. So the next job before I actually plant the onions in that bed is I need to tackle this tree. Okay, so I'm now ready to try out the chainsaw. So Vince was really happy with it when he tried it out with the pallets. I'm now going to use it on this apple tree. So I'm definitely going to take the top part of this off there's such a network of branches at the bottom here that will then rejuvenate the tree, that the apples will start growing at the bottom, and this top half, which never really does anything and looks quite unhealthy actually, I'm going to take away. That was so easy. I was expecting that to be a lot harder. That just really took that branch down so easily. So I'm now going to take this bit off here. I'm actually amazed at that. I actually can't believe that that tiny chainsaw has got that much power. That was so easy. And I definitely needed these goggles. Okay, next bit. I have to say that this is absolutely fantastic. That made such light work out of doing the apple tree. I've been doing it with pruners and things like that. I mean, this did need a big overhaul, but this is absolutely amazing. Honestly, this is so good. I'm so pleased that I got to try this out. There is a link to this if you did want to try it yourselves in the description, and the company have actually given us 10% off, and the code will be in the description as well. Okay, so now I've done the hard job and I've got a bit of a frame and a bit of a structure to the tree. I'm going to just use my secateurs just to open it up a bit more and get rid of any branches that are rubbing, because I think this has actually been this tree's problem, that there's so many branches have been rubbing on each other in the past, and it's actually got quite diseased because of it. So I am going to use these to do that. So this branch looks really strong, and it's actually got a few really nice branches coming off of it, but this one coming up here is going to rub on that one. So I think I'm going to take this one off. So I think the tree is looking so much better. So I've taken it right down. I don't want to take too much of this. I took more of the actual branches away because the tree can go into shock, and I do want to keep the tree. Even though it hasn't been producing the last couple of years, I want to give it another go. It's so nice having fruit trees at the plot or in my garden, wherever it might be. So I really want to give this a chance. So I've taken away the main branches that were rubbing, and I've kept the main structure, and then these seem to be all of the new branches, and as you can see there's quite a lot growing off there, and they've all got the fruit in spurs on them, so I think that's going to be fine. Now I need to plant my onions, so they're going to be going in here. Vince is going to take this and chop it up a bit round the back of the allotment, and I'm going to plant the onions in here. So I've got 4 trays of onions that I've started off at home. Actually it was a couple of months ago now. A couple of trays of brown onions and a couple of trays of red onions. I'm just going to space them out in here and get planting. Okay, so all of the onions are now planted in this bed, and now for the moment of truth, we're going to put the cover on it and hopefully it fits, and we've planted the onions the right distance away from the edge, but I think we'll be okay. So there is my lovely new onion bed with all my onions in there, and that is looking amazing. I'm so pleased with that. I really am pleased with that. I'm pleased with this whole area now. So hopefully the tree will be more healthy going on next year. Got my onions here, and then obviously my bed's here ready for beans to go up next year. I think I might still plant something in this. Maybe this will be where my broad beans will go, but I haven't got that far yet. So thank you so much anyway for joining me today, and I will see you again next week.